Miguel Cabrera was one of the most feared and polished right-handed hitters of all time. Over the course of his 21-year career, he accomplished a World Series championship, a Triple Crown, back-to-back MVPs, highlighted by a 4-year stretch of baseball that could be considered the greatest in MLB history. But before we dive in, if you'd like, feel free to subscribe as I'll be exploring the careers of other MLB greats, so let me know in the comments who you'd like to see next. Miguel Cabrera's career began at just the age of 16 when the Florida Marlins signed him out of Venezuela as an amateur prospect in 1999 for $1.9 million. After spending a few years in the minors, Cabrera's stock rose and he was ranked the 12th prospect in all of baseball. In June of 2003, the 20-year-old made his major league debut for the Marlins against the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. In his first game, he made an immediate impact, hitting a walk-off 2-run home run to secure a 3-1 victory. That moment in his debut was an early indicator that Cabrera was only getting started. He was quickly inserted into the team's starting lineup, playing a key role throughout the regular season and the postseason. Cabrera had an impressive first season, finishing with a .268 batting average, 12 home runs, 62 RBIs, and a .793 OPS in 87 games, which earned him 5th place for Rookie of the Year voting. However, his strikeout rate raised some concerns as he struck out 24.3% of the time. Nevertheless, it was clear that Florida had a gem in Cabrera, who helped the Fish finish with a 91-71 record, good for 2nd place behind the 101-win Atlanta Braves. Entering the playoffs, the Marlins were the wildcard team and were set to face off against the 100-win San Francisco Giants in the divisional round. The Giants won Game 1, but the Marlins responded by winning the next 3, with Cabrera contributing 4 key hits and 3 clutch RBIs in Game 4 to clinch it for the Marlins as they advanced to the NLCS. In the championship series, the Marlins faced off against the Cubs and continued to shock the world by overcoming a 3-1 series deficit, with a little help from Steve Bartman, being only the 9th team at the time to ever do that in a postseason series and the 2nd time ever in NLCS history. Cabrera hit a crucial 3-run home run in the first inning of Game 7, leading to the Marlins' 7-6 victory and a trip to the World Series for their 2nd time in 6 years. Throughout this playoff run, Miguel Cabrera emerged as a vital player for the Marlins, helping propel Florida to each of the team's next rounds. Cabrera continued to be an instrumental piece for the Florida Marlins during their 2003 World Series. In Game 4, Yankees starter Roger Clemens was pitching in what would likely be his last start. Known for intimidating young hitters, Clemens threw directly towards Cabrera's face, prompting the young hitter to give a stare right towards the vet. Miguel responded by hitting a 2-run home run, giving the Marlins the lead and eventually leading to a Florida win, which tied the series at 2. The Marlins ultimately won the series in 6 games, securing Cabrera's first World Series title in his rookie year at just the young age of 20. After the 2003 season, Cabrera followed up his rookie campaign with a tremendous sophomore year, making an all-star appearance while crushing 33 home runs and batting .294. However, the Marlins organization had other plans, and like their deconstruction in the years prior to 2003, Florida began shipping away their World Series roster. They traded away key pieces little by little, and their record reflected this. Each season, the team lost more and more games than the year before, eventually leading to a 71-91 finish in 2007. After the 2003 season, Cabrera made 4 All-Star appearances in his final 4 years with the Marlins and also earned 2 Silver Slugger awards. During this 4-year stretch, he accrued a remarkable 17.7 WAR, batted .319, posted a .947 OPS, hit 126 home runs, achieved a .147 OPS plus, all while missing just 15 games. In December of 2007, it was reported that Miguel Cabrera would likely be on the move. It was just a matter of where. Marlins president David Sampson stated that the team knew that they wouldn't be able to afford Cabrera due to the ongoing plans for a new stadium on top of the contract Cabrera would demand. With never-ending complications in the Marlins organization, Cabrera was traded to the Tigers along with Dontrelle Willis in exchange for 6 prospects, including Cameron Maybin and Andrew Miller, who were both top 5 prospects in all of baseball. It was Dave Dombrowski who made the move to bring his young star back into an organization of his own. Dombrowski was the GM of the Marlins from the start of their history until 2001. In 2002, he took over as the Tigers GM and stayed there until 2015. Detroit immediately signed Cabrera to an 8-year, $152.3 million contract to keep Cabrera in Motown for the foreseeable future. With Cabrera signing his big contract with the Tigers during the 2008 spring training, things were only looking up. After making a World Series appearance in 2006 and following it up with the disappointing 2007 season, the Tigers felt that they improved their roster for 2008. Little did they know their season would take a turn for the worse, with the team starting 0-7. Experts predicted the Tigers to be a World Series contender, but the Tigers found themselves in an early hole, and that seemingly did not get any better as the season went along. They eventually finished in last place in the AL Central with a 74-80 .288 record. Cabrera, however, had a solid year, finishing 2008 with a .292 batting average, a career-high 37 home runs, but his OPS was around 60 to 80 points lower than his previous years with the Marlins. In 2009, the Tigers had improved to 86 wins, however, it wasn't good enough, falling one game short in a one-game playoff against the Minnesota Twins. In 2010, the Tigers took a step back from the 2009 season, winning just 81 games. With an underperforming roster built to win, pressure was mounting for Detroit. For Cabrera, this would mark the beginning of what would be considered one of the best four-year runs for a hitter in MLB history, all while finishing second in AL MVP voting. Cabrera's performance was phenomenal, but it was just the tip of the iceberg for how great he actually would be. Cabrera simply was not human. Nobody in the league could match the level he was performing at. His 2010 season was a catalyst to propel the Tigers to new heights, leading the team to 4 straight playoff appearances and 4 consecutive division titles from 2011 to 2014. This era of Tigers baseball was electric. Built on the foundation of strong pitching, hitting, and defense, everything you want in a World Series contender. After a 95-win season and an unfortunate loss to the Texas Rangers in the ALCS, the Tigers went out and signed Prince Fielder to a 9-year, $214 million deal, making a statement to the league that the Tigers had arrived. This move only made the Tigers stronger as the team reached the playoffs for the second straight year and advanced to the World Series. Unfortunately for the Tigers, they were swept by the red-hot San Francisco Giants in the World Series. However, 2012 was also the year that Miggy won his first MVP award and becoming the first player since Carl Yastrzemski in 1967 to achieve the Triple Crown by leading the American League in batting average, home runs, and RBIs. And a feat nobody has accomplished since Miggy did it in 2012. In 2013, the Tigers looked to build on their success from 2012, however they fell short, losing to the Boston Red Sox in the ALCS. Miggy, however, won his second consecutive AL MVP. Cabrera also led the league in batting average, on-base percentage, and slugging percentage, joining an elite group of players including Barry Bonds, Larry Walker, George Brett, and Ted Williams. Over the course of Miggy's 4-year run, he had posted stats combining of a .337 batting average, 156 home runs, 507 RBIs, over 1,000 OPS, a 19.3 WAR, and an astounding 178 OPS plus. In March of 2014, Cabrera signed an 8-year, $248 million contract that would keep him in Detroit through 2023. On April 4th, 2014, he reached the milestone of 2,000 hits by hitting a home run into left field and capping off a 4-for-5 game. Joining elite company with Albert Pujols and Vladimir Guerrero Sr. is the only right-handed hitters with the highest career batting average over the last 100 seasons to achieve that feat. The Tigers continued their dominant run by acquiring David Price, forming what appeared to be an unbeatable starting rotation. Unfortunately, the Tigers were swept by the Baltimore Orioles in the division round, marking the last time Miguel Cabrera would see the postseason. In 2015, Cabrera faced his first significant injury, spending time on the IL with a calf sprain that sidelined him for 6 weeks. Despite this setback, he managed to put together a solid season, batting .338, although his power numbers dipped due to the injury, resulting in 18 home runs and 76 RBIs. The 2016 season marked the last year Cabrera played a full season, appearing in 158 games. It was also the final year that the Tigers would finish above 500 during Cabrera's tenure. Miggy was still able to put together a tremendous season, batting .316 with 38 home runs, 108 RBIs, a 956 OPS, but things would start to slow down for Miggy after 2016. The 2017 season marked the beginning of the decline for both Miggy and the Tigers. From that year onward, Cabrera struggled with injuries, spending time on the IL due to calf, bicep, back, and knee issues. His performance suffered, resulting in a negative 2.7 WAR during that period. It was tough to witness a superstar of his caliber decline earlier than anticipated, especially considering how exceptional the first 14 years of Cabrera's career had been. Nevertheless, Miggy remained loyal to the Tigers, fulfilling his entire contract, serving as a solid veteran presence for the team. He transitioned more to the designated hitter role instead of playing in the field due to his injury history and declining performance. On August 22, 2021, Miguel Cabrera reached the 500 home run plateau, and on April 23, 2022, he collected his 3,000th hit, making him the 7th player in MLB history to achieve both milestones. On October 1, 2023, Cabrera played his final MLB game against the Cleveland Guardians. He entered the field in the 7th inning to play first base as he was the team's designated hitter in the beginning of the game, and it could not have gone any better. Steven Kwan was the first batter up, and he hit the ball directly to Cabrera for an unassisted out. Miggy was then removed from the field, receiving a standing ovation from the Detroit fans, walking off the field for the Tigers one last time. So how good was Prime Miggy? Well, he dominated a stretch of baseball for over a decade, in addition to arguably having the greatest 4-year run a player has ever had. While Miguel Cabrera's Triple Crown win will always be a key part of his legacy, his career deserves so much more recognition beyond the Triple Crown. He's often overlooked due to his career being spent mostly in a smaller market, as well as Miggy being less of a polarizing personality. From Barry Bonds being in the league during the start of his career, to Ryan Howard in the late 2000s, Prince Fielder, Jose Bautista, Mike Trout, and Bryce Harper, someone stood in the way between Miggy and the bright lights. However, the common theme through all those years was Miggy. Cabrera's impact on baseball was significant. Although his last 7 seasons were below average, it's important to remember that he is one of the greatest right-handed hitters of all time, and there's no doubt that Miguel Cabrera deserves to be a first ballot Hall of Famer one day. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to check out my Instagram and TikTok pages, as I do a little bit of short form content over there. Those links will be in the description, but as always, have a good one.